Alright, let's get started. Hey guys, hi, this is Kushi here. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how I moved from closing to starting my own business. It's going to be a really interesting video. And those of you who do not know me, I'm actually a sales coach and consultant. I have closed over $5 million in deals, and I've scaled companies to 0 to 250 to 350K a month. So now today we're going to be talking about closing and to getting to the business. And there are actually so many people who've asked me this question on Instagram. It's like how exactly you make the switch. It's relatively easier, especially the ones who has been closing for a long time and are looking for, hey, how I start a business. Or people who are thinking of starting a business, please watch this video and make sure you make notes. I mean, today's video, I'm not going to be talking about a lot of things, not going to be making a lot of points, but I'm just going to be explaining to you how my life journey was. All right. So just so you know, before I even started closing, I started a lot of different businesses, a lot of online businesses, which I already mentioned a lot of times everywhere, and that is dropshipping, digital dropshipping. I tried Amazon FBA, and then there are like a few things that I tried. Again, there are a few businesses who worked out for me, and then eventually, I could not sustain them for a longer period of time, and that's when it started creating a problem. But I wasn't really thinking at that point of time, because there was no one who could guide me. Is like, hey Kushi, you know what, do not focus on business or focus on something else. Because at that point of time, all I'd see on internet is everyone saying dropshipping, start Amazon FBA, which is happening even right now. People like, start YouTube automation, start dropshipping, start Amazon FBA, start digital things, and there are 25,000 things that are there on the internet right now. So I'm just in this video, I'm really sharing my honest advice as to what I think and what one should do. And of course, you can make choices for yourself, however you want to take it. Anyways, now going to the point is that after really me trying different businesses, as I mentioned before, could not sustain them. Money was the problem, and it was still the problem. And it was just not going anywhere, right? And at that point of time, if I'm going to be completely real, I was already selling a product, which was like kind of a course, which was named as reverse dropshipping. And this is something that I was selling because of course I started making money through digital products, and I'm like, because the next thing was, hey, become a coach. If you're already doing something, then become a coach about it. And I said, why not? And then I just launched my webinar. I started with reverse dropshipping, started kind of selling this product, and it was working out really well for me at that point of time, and also for the people who bought the course for me. And I was like kind of helping them. Some people had more one-on-ones with me. And then to be completely honest, what I really realized over the period of time is that this is going really well. And then suddenly most of my students, they're like, oh my God, Kushi, we're not getting results, or there's some problem that's going on. And I myself was not getting such crazy results. And that's when I thought that, I cannot do this anymore and I have to stop it. I've never really told the story either on Instagram or anywhere, but this is something that is so real, because here on YouTube, I want to be completely raw as much as I can with you guys. So to actually guide you what to do next. Anyways, so I stopped the coaching completely. I stopped the coaching because I did not believe it in anymore. It did not make any sense to sell it, right? Which not most of the coaches do. Anyway, so I gave up on it. And at that point of time, two of my friends, they had a coaching consulting company, and they were like, Kushi, do you want to close first? And for me, closing is something that I never heard in my life. So I was like, closing? What's that? I mean, what I would hear of sales and closing are the people let's say, if they're selling insurance or selling credit cards, and I really found them annoying. So I had a really negative mindset coming onto this. And then of course, after that, I just said yes to it because I had nothing to lose at that point of time. I was already losing in the business. I stopped something, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to promote anything on my Instagram. And I went completely off from Instagram for about 1.5 years, right? I completely turned it off. And this was the time that I was actually starting to close. So what is basically closing, just for you guys to know, who does not understand? Closing is you must have seen a lot of coaches online, let's say fitness coach, mindset coach, life coaches, money-making coaches, trading, crypto, I don't know, health, finance, real estate. There are gazillions of them, right? All these coaches, they have their products, digital products, which starts from, let's say, $2,000. I'm talking about the high ticket, which starts from $2,000, can go up to 10, 15, 20, $30,000. There were times that I was even selling a $70,000 product, right? So it can go that high. And there are people out there who are actually buying something like this. But of course, it depends on a lot of marketing, depends on how big are the coaches. Like, for example, if you go to Tony Robbins, he's selling his products or his one-on-one session worth of $250,000. But people are buying. Why? Because they know that, okay, there is value, and he's teaching us something, and it's 250K is worth it. Anyways, So as all these coaches, they have their products. So our job as a closer is that, usually how people reach out to them and they're like, hey, I want help in this and that. Then there's a setter who calls them, qualifies them. And then after that, the lead is qualified, they're put onto closers calendar. So that's what closers are. That's exactly what I did for my friends, right? And they asked me, Kutri, let's like start closing. And for me, to be honest, before that, I tried a bit of setting. I was trying to like call people in and just trying to get the gist of like how this whole thing works. And to be honest, after doing like for 15 to 20 days where there was a bit of prep for closing, seeing like a lot of their sales video, how they're actually closing people, and also the other closer that they had, how they're closing people, and just adding this to the setting script and trying to be more comfortable talking to people. And to be honest, in the video would not look like that I'm an introvert, or I'm like just choosing to be introvert as I'm like growing old. But anyways, like people say that, oh my God, closing or sales, it's all about like, if there are people that are extrovert, they're good in communication, that's the only people who can do it. That is not true. Sales is all about practice. Even if you're an introvert, you know about the product, you're practicing it on a daily basis, you become just good at closing. It's just that it is, right? Anyways, so coming back to the point of that's where I was like, okay, let's get into closing. So on my first day, as I mentioned this many times, I had like 5 calls. I closed 3 of them, and that was in total of $17,000. So I made like $1,700 on my first day of closing. That time I think closing was also relatively easier as compared to how it is now, because you have to kind of learn. People have been scammed, and there's so many things that goes on the internet, so they are just a bit more careful. So you have to be a bit more careful. But anyways, why am I explaining you all of this is that, think about it, that I was doing, like, let's keep it on the side. I really need that. Like, I think let's just remove this because nobody needs that right now. So why am I telling you all of this is for you to understand, because that's what I see a lot of people making the mistakes. And I am really grateful that even though I wasn't told to do this, I got there by mistake. I swear, it was all mistake. So when you start a business, there are a few things that are required. 2 of the most important things are that you have capital, right? That's like one of the most important things. And the second thing is that you have skills, right? Now the point is that most of the people have nothing. But why they're actually starting a business is because they want to make capital. That's exactly what I did. I was starting drop shipping, and then there are a lot of people who actually make money out of it. I'm not saying that you cannot make at all money. There's always an exception, right? But that exception is like 5 to 10%. Like literally, genuinely, it's 5 to 10%. Now, so let's say that you are starting a business. I wanted to start a dropshipping business so that I can make money. I did not have any capital to begin with. I actually took a loan from my friend. I did not have any capital, right? I took my dad's credit card, which I had to pay off later, and I was completely in debt with that credit card because I was trying to pay from a credit card. That's another topic for another day. But anyways, the point is that most of the people started right now after they see like Instagram, and after they see all of these coaches or all these people making 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 just all the time. And they're showing you that, hey, start it so that you can make money, not capital, but you make money, right? But what you don't understand is that most of the time people fail, and that's why only 5% succeed. And those 5% people who are relentless people, they are like after it. Like they are making sure that they won't stop until they reach the goal. Not because of the coach that they got in with. Of course, a good coach can give you good value, but it's because of them, because they were relentless. They did not stop, and they continued working. And nobody sees that, guys. And I really want to be as real as I can be, with you on this video. So that's the mistake that I was doing. I did not have capital, I did not have skills, and I wanted to start a business. And I did start a business. I made money, and then I lost money. And then eventually I did not know what to do, and I was lost. And by mistake, I could have just continued with businesses, tried different businesses, because there's like the shiny object syndrome. You're seeing so many things on Instagram, and you're like, oh, let's try this, or let's try that, or let's try that, or let's try that. And then eventually you end up doing nothing, right? So by mistake, I got to closing. And I'm like, okay, I started it, as I said, that the first day made $1,700. And that was my aha moment, and that I've mentioned quite a few times. And that's when I realized that, I am going all in with closing. So what I did is at that point of time is that, of course, I got myself a mentor, and eventually I started learning more and more about sales, started closing products that were worth of, let's say, 5K to 10K, to 15K to even 30K, and then eventually it went to 75K. But anyways, it took time. It took time, and I was taking calls every single day. So I would literally, and that's what it takes for you to succeed, and that's what people don't understand. And at this point of time, it is so easy. It is so easy to become really good because nobody wants to work hard. And that's one of the most important things. It's so easy to actually achieve anything because there are so many people out there who's just snowflakes who are like, no, like, just calm down, just chill, everything's gonna work out for you. No, you have to make everything work out for yourself. Nobody, no coach, not your parents or your friends, nobody is gonna do it for you, but only you can do it for yourself. And I'm so sorry I'm getting so passionate about this, but this is the truth, right? Anyways, so every single day, because we had like an office in Dubai, and then I used to go to the office. So I was leaving for the office 8 in the morning, and I would literally come 11 p.m. in the evening. And you know what I'd do? I would just take calls. And it was so hard at that point of time because there were some people who would not show up on the calls or whatever that's going on. You know what I would do? I'd pick up the phone and I'd just call these people, and I'd try to get them on the call with me together, right? And then try to close them on the call itself. So it wasn't easy. Everyone just wanted, like, hey, here's the food. Here, eat it. That's not how it works. You have to get it. And I'm very grateful for those people who gave me an opportunity where I can even do something like that. But I had a strong why. And if you do not have a strong why, you would not do anything. So first and foremost, figure that out for yourself, why you're doing what you're doing, which I've also mentioned in my previous video. But anyways, so I was there whole day. You know for how long? For about 9.5 months. Every single day. This is what I would do. Close. Until I proved, and I'm very competitive and I love it, but I proved that I am a good closer, right? So out of all the closers, I was one of the best closer. As I was one of the best closer, I tried to negotiate with them, and they made me the sales head of the company, right? So when I became the sales head, that's when I started learning about sales process. It's all about like how the numbers work, how the sales CRM work, right? How to look at numbers, how to make sure, and then of course I'm also learning, I'm watching YouTube videos on a daily basis. How do I scale, let's say if we are closing around about 80K per month, right? How we get to 100. And if we're closing 100K per month, how we get to 150. If we're closing 150, how we get to 200. Then from 200 to 250K a month. And when I actually left the company, we were actually doing 250K a month, which is amazing. And I had teams with all the closers, teams with all the setters. But then what happened at that point of time is that, now this is something very important for all of you to know, right? How you move from closing to actually a business, right? Now, what happened is, I had to first master a skill, okay? Mastered a skill. That was closing. Now that I've mastered it, I'm like, I'm bored. I need something else. That's how you grow, right? Why do you think that there are so many? 9 to 5 is not bad. That people say, oh my God, you're doing 9 to 5. No, 9 to 5 is not bad. It's just that it is not challenging you enough. You stay at the same job doing the same task for the rest of your life. And how boring is that? And that's why people are depressed. Even if there are people who have lots and lots of money, rich people, who are not leveling up every single time, who are just staying there, enjoying their money, or doing just tasks here and there. There's so many people that I have met or that I have talked to are depressed, even though that they have money. So money has nothing to do with your happiness. Of course, it makes your life really easy and amazing, but it has nothing to do with your main happiness, with your inner peace, right? That you have to find for yourself. And that can only happen when you change. And this is something that I want to talk about. Like if someone would ask me, hey Khushi, what's the most important thing in your life that you like respect? I would say growth. Whether it's personal or let's say relationship or health or wealth. growth is what fulfills you in the end. At least this is what I have learned, at least this is what I have heard from all the other people who've made money. It's the growth which like fulfilled them in the end, not the money, not that they had the most beautiful wife, or not that they had the best health. It's about that how they are growing every single time. So whatever that they are today, they're better next day. Anyways, now, I'm so sorry. So what happened is, number one thing is what I did is that I mastered the skill of closing, right? That was very important for me. And for me, after this, I'm like, what is next? What is next that I can do? And I got the opportunity to start like taking care of the sales process. Now, taking care of the sales process gave me another perspective of how I can, from closing, move to another thing. And this just doesn't apply in closing, but this applies in every area of your life. Whatever that you're doing, first you acquire and become so good at it, and then you move, okay, what is the next level? Then you move from the next level to the next level, and that's how you keep on growing, keep on growing, keep on growing. And you have to think, okay, what are the other things? What are the other things that I can do? And this is how you have to find yourself, whatever that fits the best for you, you do it. For me, it was that. Even though I just found it by itself, but it was that. But then again, I went to, taking care of the sales process, where I started learning about, as I just mentioned, about how numbers work, right? Sales CRM, how to train closers, how to train setters, how to train cold callers. So everything I was learning here, every single day I was learning here, and that's how I scaled it this far, right? And the time that I was training closers and setters, there were a few of the closers who said, Kushi, why don't you start your own coaching in this? And at that point of time, I knew I had this in the back of my mind, because starting a coaching would be starting my own business. But I wanted to know, like, hey, what kind of business do I want to start? Do I want to start an agency, or do I want to start like a coaching business, coaching, consulting? But first, if you want to start anything, and this is one of the most important things that most of the people don't understand, if you want to start anything, make sure that you're really good at it. Don't teach people something where you're not good at. I've seen a lot of newbies starting, they have just done closing for like 1 or 2 months, closed like $150,000 in deals, and then they're like, we are ready to become a sales coach. Please be aware. Check it out who you get coached from. And I just want to tell people who ever haven't closed enough, do not try to teach people, or do not try to become a sales coach. It's good that you can learn throughout the process, but it takes time. Be good at it first, then start teaching people something. All right, so after like taking care of the sales process of that company, I had like a lot of closers that I was training to, and they were like, Kushi, why don't you start your own business into this? And this was like coaching business, like, why don't you teach people how to close? Because you're really doing a good job with this. And I'm like, hey, thank you so much. Of course I can do that, but I was a bit skeptical, and I had imposter syndrome. I'm like, am I good enough right now to coach people? And that's a very important thing that I want to just tell to everyone. If you're not good enough, do not coach people. So when I started thinking, okay, I have different options right now. In order to start my business, either I can start a coaching and consulting company, or either I can start an agency, right? And again, I was like a bit skeptical, not sure, blah, blah, blah. So what I did, I just said no. Taking care of the sales process was something that I was getting really interested in. And that time I took one more company, and this company is from Australia, and this is Wrap My Business, and they were doing roundabout, at that point of time, 8 to 10 million AUD revenue per year. And that was really interesting for me. And I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna start training and they had like 30 cold callers, they had like 8 closers. And then what I did, I got in that company and I started changing their whole structure from like, because they had the closers who were going like door to door and trying to close people. I'm like, why don't you do it online? Everybody's online, let's get them all in like Zoom and try to give the presentation. Anyways, so I started doing this. I scaled that company up, and that time when I was training so many people, and that's what I was thinking, that hey, whenever like you were doing certain things like agencies where you're providing your consulting, but you're also into the business itself a lot, and I did not want to kind of give it up. I really liked it, but then I thought that there are so many people who can actually learn the skill, because there are so many people who are starting with business, and I hated that. And like, it did not work out for me. I don't think this is going to work out for you. Learn a skill, then start a business. First, focus on the basics, how you can make money. If you made money, after that, start a business so you can put money into that business. Anyways, so after doing this, for a longer period of time, taking care of the sales process of the company, I jumped into almost 1.5 to 2 years ago. I started my coaching and consulting business. And in this coaching, I was teaching individuals, and consulting, I was again consulting companies, like how they can just scale themselves up. And I just started like both like B2B and B2C, I started like scaling that. And that's how I went from closing to this. And from there, I of course scaled myself to almost 110K a month. But again, what I realized that I'm not able to give my business like a lot of time, because I was taking care of the sales process of different companies, and I'm still involved in those companies, and I love helping these companies. So right now, again, I'm kind of restructuring everything. But then again, I am a normal person, and I took from one thing to another thing to another, and that all happened because I want to grow, and I want to play that next game, and I want to see how things look like next. Like next would be for me after this going more into like finance or private equity, where like for example, let's say I can go to companies, tell them that hey, you know what, I can scale your company. I know marketing and I know sales. I can scale your company because these are the two main factors, which takes company from here to here. Of course, product is another thing, and to make sure that their product is good. But anyways, I can take that and then I can start taking equity from these companies. That would get into something different. And then these are my goals. Like, hey, how do I first make sure that I stabilize this, then I get to the next level? Not like other people think, oh, you need to have 13,000 different income streams in order to make money. If you're not already good at number one thing, do not even think about other streams. First master this, then get to another, then get to another, then get to another. As soon as you stabilize one stream of income, then you can of course get into the another one, and that's how you can just scale yourself up. But anyways, in a nutshell, what I really want to say, this was my journey, what took me starting from closing and starting from nothing to actually start my own business. And it took time, it took a lot of work, I had to take care of so many other things in order to actually get to the level that I am today. And again, every single day I'm looking for a new one. What can I do more? What can I do next, right? Whatever that has bored me, I'm like, okay, what's next? What's coming for me? And this is what it is in the end. Like, money is just a tool. I'm living a comfortable life, which I'm really, really, really grateful for. At the very same time, I just want to grow. I want to make sure that I am reaching to next level. I'm becoming the best version of myself. And there's one thing that Ed Mylett says, and you guys should check out Ed Mylett on YouTube. He says that when you're about to die and you are meeting the person that you could have been, so let's say you're on your deathbed and there's a chance somehow that you're able to make what you could have been, and then you just meet that person and see that you're not that person. That's my biggest fear. I want to use my full potential. I want to do everything that I can on a daily basis, because of course every day is not the same. Some days you're procrastinating more, some days you're procrastinating less. Every day is not the same, but that thought scares me, and that's why I want to work hard every single day and make sure that I become the best version of myself. And this is what I suggest to you. Of course, you can get from any journey to starting your own business or whatever that you want to do. This was my journey, and this is just what I want to share with you. Do not jump into things. Learn, do your research, and think, okay, this is my number one step, this is my number two step. And if you're doing number one step like really, really, really good, there'll be so many opportunities that are going to show up to your number two step. Then from your number two step, you're doing a lot of things, and there are a lot of opportunities, and that's how you're growing every single time. So this was the whole thing of this video, for me to just tell you guys that how far one can go. And there's no limits. There's no limits. I'm looking forward for my life, what it has yet to offer, right? And every single day I make sure, and even with my team, I make sure that, hey, that they are growing with me together, right? That's like our main motto in our team, that number one thing that we all value is growth. And if I see that, not just me, because I don't want to grow all by myself, if my team is also growing, that's where I'm winning, right? Or the people who are getting more results, that's where I'm winning. The people who are moving to Dubai and starting their own companies after closing for about 1.5 years, that's what I'm winning. So this is how I measure growth. And again, and not because not through money that I measure growth, right? So this is how you can get to from whatever that you're doing and starting a business. Do not jump into starting a business. So yeah, that's all for this video. If you guys have any question that come up, through this video, of course, feel free to reach out to me and comment below whatever the questions that you have, and I'd love to reply to all of the comments and the questions within the comment section. Like, I don't know what I'm saying, but anyways, all right, guys. So take care of yourself. I'll see you to the next video. Till then, ciao, ciao.